In this video, I am looking at breakout strategies, and I have two different breakout strategies. I'm going to show you the analysis that I have done. I'm going to show you how I did it. I'm going to give you some actionable results that you can use today. This is Mark from TradeInform.com and welcome to this video. In this video, I am looking at breakout strategies, and in particular stock breakout strategy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the two different strategies that I have identified. I'm going to show you how I analyzed these two different strategies. I'm going to run through the analysis. I'm going to have a look at the results, and I'm going to tell you what my conclusions are. Stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this video. Please comment below. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe and like button. I said at the start of this video that I am analyzing two different trading strategies. The first one of these is a Donchian breakout strategy. This is a standard price channel breakout. So you can see on the screen here that we are identifying the high for a set number of bars. If we close above this, I'm identifying it on a close basis, then we will enter a trade. If we close below the lower channel, then we will close that trade. The second is a variation on this. I'm still using exactly the same number of periods for the Donchian channel. However, once we have had that breakout, I am then looking for a retracement, and I'm going to enter on the retracement. And as you can see on the screen, I am using the RSI. I'm using a short period RSI to identify a pullback from the entry, and it's at that time that I'm going to enter the trade. On the screen at the moment is how I am carrying out this analysis. This is a trade-informed backtest model, and I have programmed in the two strategies that I have just described. This particular model was prepared for my trade-informed members. They already have a copy of this. Now, if you think this is something that might interest you, to be able to backtest in Excel, to be able to test your own markets, test different variables, different indicators, there is a link on the screen about how you can become a trade-informed member, and also a link below this video. So let's have a look at the settings that I have used in this model. So firstly, the very first market that I'm going to test is Apple. Quite possibly or probably the strongest performing stock over the last 20 years. If I scroll down, we can see the price chart here of the underlying market. Now, the first strategy that I have in here is the standard breakout. To remind you, I am using Donchian price channels. A break above means to open a trade, and a break below means to close the trade. So we can set here the entry and the exit price channels. I've used a value of 25, which is a bit quicker than you may have seen before. However, when you've got a fast moving market, you generally want to have quicker bands. Now I'm testing on the daily time frame, so this would represent 25 days. Okay, you can see here the results, and you can see, because I've got the buy and hold put on the chart here, that we've got very similar results over this entire time period, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to compare here. Now I've got a checkbox here. You can see the results have changed. Let's take that off. This is the result of the trading strategy here. Now, this is using the RSI version of the breakout strategy. And just to remind you, the RSI version waits for a breakout. It uses exactly the same entry Donchian that you can see here on the model, and then it waits a set number of days. Got here bars since breakout, a maximum of 20 days for the RSI to drop below 25, at which point we will enter the trade. You can see we get quite different results. If I put buy and hold here, you can see that this particular strategy has outperformed. I'm going to show you a couple of variations. There are lots of variations. I'm not going to spend time on them in this particular video, but if you have a copy of this model, you can test anything to your heart's content. So I'm going to keep it at 20 days. Okay, so I've had a look at Apple. I'm happy with this. I'm going to click this button here, and this says copy strategy results. And what it will do is open up the strategy review tab. You can see I've got Apple. I have my results here, the commissions I've applied, and my settings down here, so I can recreate the scenario. Let's have a look at the next market, and you will see as I go through these markets a picture building up that is telling us a story. So first of all, let's have a look at Microsoft. So I'm just going to choose Microsoft from the drop down menu, click update data. Okay, it's going to bring me back to the results page. I've got the standard breakout checked here, and we can see that, let's take away buy and hold, this strategy has performed decently enough, annual growth rate of just over 5%, but it has underperformed. And if I put it back on, you can see that underperformance has occurred here. However, that may not be a bad thing when you have a stock that has performed extremely well. It can be hard to match that performance as long as we're keeping our drawdowns low and we're performing well over a variety of different stocks. So here we have Microsoft. Now I'm going to go into the RSI version, and you can see we have a completely different story. Now I've not changed anything else except the strategy. The breakout uses Donchian channels. We enter and exit using the channels. The RSI version waits for a breakout of the Donchian channel, and then it waits for a reversal. It waits for a pullback using the RSI, and then it enters. And you can see we've got a completely different story, significantly outperforming buy and hold. Okay, so I like these. I'm not going to try these. In fact, I am going to demonstrate something for you here. Now, we may think that the Donchian 25 is not right for a slower moving stock. Let's put it on here. Let's go on to the optimizer. So I'm testing all the values from 10 to 70 with a step of 5. And this will go through all the values and tell us if we're missing anything. Show us if we've got stability, show us the best zones. In fact, on this strategy, a slightly shorter Donchian channel would have been better, around 15, but with decent and actually quite similar results all the way from 10 to 40, and a longer one not performing as well. Okay, interesting. So let's go back here, click on copy strategy results, and we've got another piece of the jigsaw. Okay, so I've chosen 2 tech stocks. Let's have a look at one more, but with different characteristics again. Let's have a look at Nvidia. Okay, so it's coming up now as I click on update data. And we can see, let's put that back on there. Right, we've got a very strange chart here for Nvidia, not doing much for about 15 years, relatively speaking, and then going through the roof over the past however many, 4-5 years. So again, it's a challenge to get the best results out of a stock like this, or at least outperform it, but we're not always looking to outperform the high stocks because we can't choose these. We don't know always. If we just bought here, we'd be pretty happy, but we don't know that that is going to happen. So we use the trading strategy to limit our risks and to find good opportunities, good trading opportunities. So here we have the standard breakout. You can see it doing pretty well, but not performing as well as the buy and hold, but that's okay. Now let's have a look at the RSI version. Again, we've got pretty similar. If we wanted to keep these on the same chart, of course, we can go into the format axis, put this on a log scale, and we can see in a lot more detail about what is going on here. Let's put that back. Okay, so without changing things too much, I'm happy enough with those, so I'm going to copy the results again. Okay, so we have Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. Let's have a look at our other data. Now, let's go for something quite different. What about Berkshire? Now, Berkshire, completely different animal. We've got a conglomerate. It has performed very nicely, beaten the market over a long period of time. Let's go back to Breakout. Let's take that off. This is what the buy and hold has done. This is why Warren Buffett has so many admirers. We've performed 10% over this time period and over a much longer time period than that, of course. So this is what the breakout strategy has done. Again, I'm keeping the values exactly the same, 25. Why don't we have a look at the optimizer just to see if we can get something better. Again, I'm going to run through all the values between 10 and 70. And in a nice visual display, we can see here, slower moving stock. Maybe not surprisingly, the higher values performing better. Okay, but I'm not trying to optimize it today. I just want to look at these two different strategies. There we go, we've got the RSI version of the strategy. Put buy and hold back on. We can see it has performed more or less the same as buy and hold. I'm not using a stop loss or a profit target, or at least a close one. 50% for both of these. I am using close after a number of bars. We could have a look, see if that changes anything. Maybe even 50. No, it's not making much difference. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to hit copy strategy results. You can see in a very short space of time we're starting to pick up a feel for what this strategy is doing. I'm purposefully trying to get a range of stocks, and look here at the net profit. Right, let's look at something different again. What about JP Morgan? Click update data. So JP Morgan, a bank stock that has performed pretty well over this time period, better than most of its peers. Let's go back to the breakout. What have we done over this time period? About 7.5% on an annualized basis. Quite respectable. And using these settings, we've got something like this. Again, it's profitable. It's underperformed the underlying market. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So simple breakout strategy. We can always try and optimize it, but here, just using simple settings, these are the results we get. Now, the RSI version, you can see we're getting quite a different story again. Let's put buy and hold on here. See, in this case, it is outperforming buy and hold. Decent results, annual growth rate of 13%. However, we can see we have an outsized drop here. This is always something to be aware of. If we've run up the price quite a lot and we have a big percentage fall, that is going to be the effect. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Click and copy strategy results. And here we go. Now we've got a few different tech stocks, conglomerate, bank. What do we want to have a look at next? Let's have a look at another bank, slightly lesser performing one, Bank of America. Just going to choose it from my selection I've got here. You're not limited to this selection. This is just what I have chosen. Now we have Bank of America, which has more variability, but it is still returned an annualized growth of about 4%. So not too bad. And you can see that the breakout strategy has not done as well here. So annual growth rate negative. It's got a negative return. Quite sure if we use the optimizer, we would find a better setting. But I think that is telling us what we need to know, that a breakout long only strategy has underperformed the market. Okay, let's have a look at the RSI version. get a different story. I put buy and hold on. You can see it's going in a different direction. So just by using the RSI retracement, we are tending to get a better result. We can try different things. We can try some of these settings, but I'm not going to do that in any great detail. We could try adding a stop loss. We can try optimizing this, but I'm happy with that. So I'm going to hit this button. So you've noticed that all the ones I have saved here have been the RSI version for consistency. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. I'm going to have a look at Prologis here. Okay, let's go back to this, take that off. Right, so Prologis performed extremely well, really. Annualized growth rate of 12%. It may be not the most glamorous of industries either, so very, very good. This is what we got for the Berkshire. Now maybe let's just do it just for the sake of it. Have a look at the different values of the Breakout. Now a lot of people will tell you that Breakout is a good way to trade, and I think these results are confirming it is a solid way to trade. It may not be the best way, but it would certainly suggest, we could do more testing, that it is a solid way. So we're at about as good as we can get there for this particular ticker. Let's have a look at the RSI. Put that back on. Okay, so RSI version again seems to be performing slightly better. Slightly higher annual growth rate. Good percentage of winning trades. Right, I'm happy with that. Let's copy the strategy results. Okay, in a very short space of time, just in this video, I've done some testing and some broad brush analysis on these stocks. All the RSI versions, we've got some conclusions here. We've got some high win rates. For a breakout type strategy, you often have to accept sometimes lower win rates, maybe around 50%. However, in this case, in these cherry-picked markets, we've got some good win rates. So that's something that we can be aware of. Net profit, what are the conclusions here? Well, it certainly varies, and probably the biggest takeaway for me is make sure we are in the best markets. Now, I haven't done some of these other stocks. I haven't done Amazon or Google, and no doubt these are higher. I've got a higher profitability. However, we could see just getting in one stock like Apple can outperform the rest of your portfolio. Getting in these big stocks, keeping going, not necessarily compounding indefinitely, of course, but keep going with it. Keep sticking to the strategy. Good percentage win rate. MAR ratio, we've got nothing spectacular here. Most of these are less than 0.5. MAR ratio measures the annual growth rate divided by the maximum drawdown. Average trade expectancy is pretty good, but we're holding these trades open for a while. So we've got a pretty good, let's see, we're averaging about 5%, although that average is strongly affected by Apple. Now we've got all the different settings that I have used here, so we can recreate any one of these trading strategies if we want to. So my conclusions and takeaway from this video, I hope you have enjoyed it, that a breakout strategy is a perfectly feasible, even this simple version is a perfectly feasible way to trade the markets. Probably the most important thing is choosing the right markets, being in the right place and sticking with the stocks that are going to outperform in the long term. However, if we have a slight twist on the strategy, we look and try and find a better entry point, we can outperform significantly a standard breakout. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Remember, as I said at the start of this video, if you want to be doing these tests yourself, if you want access to my latest research, which I release every month, there is information on the screen and below this video about how to become a Trade Informed member. So, and for more information about how to trade the financial markets, about backtesting your trading strategies, getting better trading results, please go to tradeinformed.com.